Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to what I'm hoping is the finale of Trails into Reverie. This game has lasted longer than I thought it would. So, last time we did our final wrap-up, post-game of the Zero Stratum, and did one of the two, Beyond the Reverie, what is that called? Like, daydreams. Then I found out that I missed a bunch of Vantage Masters opponents, so now we have to play them.
It's my pleasure to duel you.
So I guess we're starting with Vantage Masters. Yeah, sure. What does Holy Sister do? Okay, sure. Uh-huh. Well, that worked out well for you. Are you kidding me? You had two Fiefdel in hand? There.
I lost?
There.
Well, I don't like that.
Vane. George. He has
Here's
Beast.
to a good game.
Okay, Beast deals 2 damage upon counterattacking. Okay. I think I'm gonna regret this, but let's see what happens. Well, you sure did a lot in that one turn. Oh, is it not? Sure. Okay. Hmm. Actually, I think I have that. There we
Hate to
go.
admit it, but the win's yours.
Well, that was, interesting.
Shall we have ourselves some fun?
Sure. Attack +1. Okay, that's rough. It costs how much mana? 2, okay. Wow. You've done a lot of damage to me so far. Okay. Uh... Right. forgot Neptuno does that. Most we can do is like 13. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's see if we... see. There we go,
That's
we
all
got
to
there.
you.
I have to actually think about that.
Let the game begin.
Okay. Well, that was quite a turn one. Elder Spirit does what again? Attack plus 2, HP plus 2 to all allies. If HP is under 10, attack plus 1, and turn reactivation. Okay, interesting. Sure. 3 damage to an entire row. Okay. Is that worth it? Probably not. That would leave you just wide open, so let's end the turn and see what happens. Magorb. Okay, you just bounced at that. I guess that's fine. I save up on that, actually. Four damage to all enemies. Oh. I actually think that's probably worth that trade there. Sure.
No mercy for this poor damsel.
There we go.
Visitor access detected.
Let's see. That everything? I guess that might be everything. Looks like that's everything. Just to see... Sporting Stone.
Executing recuperation program.
Yeah, no, wait. I think that's everything. Who else could be? We've done everyone here. And we've done everyone here. Huh. Okay. Feels kind of anticlimactic, but... A trial door. What else do we have for those?
Trial door presented.
Max we have is 118 with Super McBurn. Okay. Rufus... Arundel rebuilt in Million? Okay. Ceres, Sharon, Aurelia, and Arcade. Fee and total at 155, okay. I guess we start there?
There we go.
Trials available.
And then we have Elliot and Vita at 165, okay. Where is Elliot at?
Yay, I did it!
Of course you did.
Trial door presented.
Bro, George, Toe, Angelica, 170. George, Toa, Angelica?
Yeah, just like that.
All parameters up.
And where's Toa at?
I did it!
Trial door presented.
Sarah, Sharon, Aurelia, and Victor at 180.
Woohoo!
Growth is a path without end.
Oh, I can get even stronger.
And Sharon.
Oh, how lovely.
That should
Trials
be it
available.
with the... Or, nope. Rufus, Lecter, Claire, and Million.
Always nice to improve.
Lecter. Rufus. That's 180, right? Millium is right there.
Whoopee!
Trials available.
At 185.
Yes, I'm moving up!
I'm sure you are.
But of course.
Whoopee!
This is probably going to be the harder one. Because I don't think there's like any group here that I have actually built.
Always nice to improve.
I guess we'll just start
Trial
with
door presented.
Fee and Toval. Okay. Whatever.
Trials available.
but why? Stacking the deck a little and throwing both the Black Whirlwind and the Soaring Phoenix at us, aren't they? I mean, those two have both fought the Blazing Demon. Oh yeah, I guess I did, huh? Powerful Gaius and Emma fought to contain him, while the Major General kept the flames at bay. This should make for a decent practice, then. You say that like it's no big deal. Fine, let's do this, Sylphide. You're one of the Imperial Guild's brightest up-and-coming racers, so if you can't do this, we're doomed. No sweat, I've got your back, if you've got mine, Toby the Zero Artisan. I specifically remember telling you not to call me that.
Don't let your guard down.
Wait! Now!
You're mine!
Wait! Now!
You're mine! Stepping up.
I'm next. 3. Done!
Code! All right. Arcus, activate!
Wait! Now!
You're mine!
Wait! Now!
Yeah, this is working.
Showtime.
Code!
Wait! It's down.
You're mine!
Showtime.
Stepping up. Arcus, activate!
Wait! Now!
You're mine!
Showtime. All the way! Zephyr Tempest! Showtime. 3. Done!
Code!
Got you. 3. Done! Wait!
Yeah, that's about what I expected to happen.
I'm next. 3. Done! I'm next.
Shouldn't kill her, I don't think.
My
Oh, it did.
guard
Never
down.
mind. I'm kind of shocked, actually.
Trials available.
I actually lost that one.
Stepping up.
Wait! Now!
You're mine!
Wait! Now!
You're mine!
I'm next. Go.
Code! My turn. Arcus, activate!
Showtime. Wait! Now!
You're mine!
Better. Wow.
Touch!
Wait! I'm next.
Thanks for that.
Wait! It's down.
You're mine!
Got you. I'm next. Wait! It's down.
You're mine! All right.
How did you hit Total? What?
Showtime. Got you. Wait!
we get told that again?
Losing my touch.
Wait! Showtime. Wait! Showtime. I'm next. Wait! Got you. Go. Yeah.
Just in case.
Showtime. 3. Done. Wait. Wait. Showtime. Showtime. Wait. Wait. Got you. Got you. Wait.
That's actually bad for me. Okay.
Wait. Got you. Wait. I'm next. Wait. Wait. Showtime. Wait. I'm next.
There we go.
Wait. Got you. Wait. Showtime. Wait. Showtime. Got you. Showtime. Battle complete.
There we go.
Let's move.
Okay. Tricyclone 3, and Toval Sphere Break to Sphere Break 2.
Trials available.
Next one is Laura, Agate, and Rose. Laura and Agate are set up. Well, Rose is kind of set up too. Not like crazy well, but I mean.
Trial door presented.
I think we're fine going into that. Oh, God. So we meet again, Leanne. You may be nothing more than a phantom, but it's still good to see you, old friend. This ain't exactly the time to be getting all teary-eyed and sentimental, you know? Just looking at her is about enough to make you piss your pants. She ain't the Steel Maiden for nothing. Ease up and she'll run circles around us. Indeed, but this also serves as a rare opportunity. She was my goalpost as a swordsman for many years. One I'm all too happy to surpass once more, here and now. Leave some room for me to tussle, too. It's been 2 centuries since we last sparred. As both a one-time friend and your guide as an awakener, I won't hold back, Leanne. Prepare yourself.
Don't let your guard down.
I'll handle this. Triumph! Avalon Heart! I'll handle this.
I mean, you're just, like, telling me to do
Behold!
this.
The ready! Radiant Phoenix Blade!
Wow,
My
that
turn.
did less than I thought. I probably should have done that. Whatever. Hey, how you doing, Ray? What's up?
I'm rather worked up. I do believe I'll help myself. How refreshing.
Let's go. Now,
An opening!
payback.
Okay.
I was careless.
Well, that
Crying
didn't
out
go
loud.
too well.
I must do something. Here,
Thank you.
a fine ridiculous this is! I do believe I'll help my... How refreshing.
Crying out loud.
There!
This is about to be really bad. Yep.
Perhaps my age is catching up.
I must do something.
You have my
I
thanks.
must do something.
Thanks.
I must do something.
Yeah. What chic! I shall go.
My turn. Give 'em hell!
Whatever.
Crimson Bring! My turn.
Let's go.
Payback!
Here.
Let's go.
Okay, sure.
Break. Let's not be spellbound.
Oh, crimson moonlight veiled in dust. Lend me your power. Burn to ashes. Bewitching blood moon.
Neat.
Payback!
Well, lower that again.
I was careless.
My turn. There!
Thank you.
Crying out loud.
Let's...
I'm rather worked up.
Great.
Let's go.
Was really hoping to,
Break. Off balance.
There!
Great.
So it's on me,
That's a cancel too, really.
Here.
Thanks.
I'll handle this.
Give 'em hell! Crimson Bring!
Let's go.
And
Right.
bonk again.
An opening.
Good job. Okay, she just casually S-crafts without buffing that time.
My age is catching up.
Careless.
Damn it.
No tell her anything, gotcha.
Thank you.
Damn it.
There!
I
You
thought I
have
would
my
be fine with this, but apparently not.
Damn.
Who would have guessed?
Let's go.
Leanna's a difficult fight.
Break. I'm rather worked up. How's this?
Thanks.
What chic!
Payback!
I'll handle this.
Yeah. So it's on me, I do believe I'll help my... How refreshing.
Damn it.
Get him!
An opening.
There we go.
Fights with us are but a trifle.
Yeah. Let's keep showing them who's boss.
And the trial, True Lion Rush to Supreme Lion Rush. Oh god, it gets stronger.
Trial door presented.
Elliot and Vita. Oh, I don't have anything on. Why did I do that? Whatever. Ooh. That's just a man in a tank! Is that my dad with a tank? Well, that's one way to test us. Leave it to a military man like him to show up armed to the teeth. Yeah, that's my dad for you. He and I might have taken different paths in life, but I still love and respect him a great deal. In a way, it's gratifying for us to be able to face each other at our full strength. And all the more reason to give him everything I've got. I'll show him firsthand just what sort of musician I've become. You know what? As a fellow performer, I think I'll tag along for this little family reunion, if you don't mind. Let's make this a concert for the ages, one where music and magic intertwine in this realm of dreams.
This one seems worth picking on. How's this?
Yeah. Arcus, activate!
Okay.
Huh?
Very well.
Oh. Right, that's how that works. Which EPD? That wasn't good. Oh, Elliot died. Who would have guessed?
I will go.
Dance! Azure feathers!
Just to see.
I will go. How's this?
Well, that worked.
Very well.
There!
Thank you.
I will go.
I mean, she still has all of the stuff on, so...
Hearken to the aria of the abyss!
Humankind are evildoers, shackled by emotion. Fury, misery, agony, enmity.
Behold, for it longs to be forever at your side!
Yeah, Vita carried that fight.
A fine performance all around.
We're getting the trial, Nocturne Bell to 3. Okay, Frozen Prison to Supreme Frozen Prison.
Trial door presented.
14. Crow, George, Toa, Angelica. Sure.
Trial door presented. Trials available.
Whatever. See if we can get a repeat. Have Crow carry this one, though. That's 2 Magic Knights, okay. Get a load of those bad boys. They brought out the big guns for us. Yeah, those are the Magic Knights that showed up in Heimdall during the Great Twilight. They're golems created by mages back during the Dark Ages. One's bad enough, but a team? This is bad news, guys. What's got you so scared, George? You don't really think these things will have a leg up on us now, do you? What say we remind these jerks just what we Thor's upperclassmen can do, huh? Gosh, someone's eager. But I won't lie, it does feel nice coming together again with the three of you like this. We've been through a whole lot since we were all students, but we'll show everyone we still got it. Let's knock 'em dead, guys. Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's rock and roll, people. We'll have these knights taken down in a flash.
This one's different. Play it smart.
Okay, so... Is there a special setup for this?
Your
Nah,
strength.
maybe not.
Surge! All right.
Magic attack absorption, critical plus 60%, 80% damage reduction, and damage plus 60%. That's the one we
Recap
want.
it! Chaos Storm! Time to show off. Arcus activate!
We just saw the boat, so...
Here's a boost!
Yeah, that worked.
My turn. Grand Blast him! Now! Wide open!
Let's do it!
Ready or not? Shooting star fire!
Yeah, there's one.
Time to show off. Arcus activate! Here's
Yep.
a boost! Thanks!
Crow, definitely carry that one.
You messed with the wrong guy.
Let's see. Get the trial. Eye of Baylor to Eye of Baylor 2. Caldbulb to Caldbulb 2. Energy Rain to Energy Rain 2. Zero Impact to Zero Impact 2. Conquer 18.
Trial door presented.
Olivier, Princess Elephant, Machias. You're saying I should... Yeah, that's probably okay, right? The only thing he's probably missing is... Yeah, he actually still has stuff on. Oh, right, because that's right, I was using it.
Trials
Never.
available.
Yeah, why is Machias here? That's kind of weird. That's... What? Now, what do we have here? From what I understand, that's quite the mighty spiritual being. Though we may outnumber it, you can be certain that if it's here to test us, it'll put up quite the fight. Indeed, this calls for full attention, my brother. I'd like to believe I myself have gotten stronger since arriving at the Reverie corridor. It simply won't do for us as honor siblings to give this anything less than our utmost. You two are just ready to go, aren't you? I doubt I'll be able to keep up with either of you, but as an executor of imperial justice, I'll do my best to provide support. You honor us. We owe your father a great deal for everything he's done for our country. But enough talk. It's high time we show this beast the full force of our might. Yeah, gladly. As you wish, your highness.
This one is strong, but if we work as one...
Flow! Elegant flow! Heck!
My thanks to you.
There! Leave it to me! Locked and loaded! Fire!
my duty.
Oh,
There's
we
no
could 2
hiding
turns,
from me.
actually. It's probably worth it.
Got it.
Archydos, a whale cryptid bearing a sacred shrine on its massive back. People used to worship in it and its shrine, or worship it and its shrine in ancient times.
There!
This may take a minute.
I wish I could keep going.
Ready! Sweet!
You're so sweet.
Ready! Lock fire!
Very well.
Hit!
It's my duty. There's no hiding from me.
Yep.
Next round! Lock fire!
It's my turn. Ah,
There!
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
I appreciate it. My thanks to you. Here's my stage.
Wow.
Hit!
it's my turn.
Okay,
Ah. Yeah.
just spamming Albion Wolves at this point.
Next
Why
round.
not?
Lock fire!
It's my turn. Ah.
Man of the hour.
Is there anything he can cast faster? Nope, apparently not. Cast some breath faster, I guess, but eh.
Hit!
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
My thanks to you.
Ready!
Flow! Elegant one!
Ready!
I don't know.
Time barrier, break!
Let's begin.
Let's see what else we can do here.
Ah.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Here's my stage.
Hit! Ready! Lock fire!
I'm a little out of sorts.
Let's see, 109,000 health left.
There's no hiding from me. Target assessed.
There!
No, that was enough. Never mind, we're good.
Did you like that?
Requiem shot 2. Okay.
Trials
So
available.
that just leaves 16 with Sharon, Sarah, Sharon, Aurelia, and Arcade. Also, not really a group I've used much. Yeah, sure. Oh, wait. Genesis? What is that? Speed plus 50, evade plus 50% magic evade. What the hell? Sure. It seems pretty good. Heck, I haven't even done, all of friggin', Sarah's, slots yet. %, evasion, huh?
Blazing Forge
Who
activated.
else haven't I done slots for? Wow. Sharon haven't? I guess Arcade makes sense. Millie? I thought I actually did everyone's slots. And I was working towards it. I'm about to run out of quartz. Sepith. Yeah, I legitimately thought I did everyone's slots already. As a negatory. Like Toval. God, it's ridiculous how expensive that is.
Trials available.
Sure. I feel like I can probably get something.
Millennial
better.
Trove activated. Activating requisitions program.
Get 5 with shards. That's quite a big increase. Okay. Was Arcade, wasn't it? Enough for me. Arcade and who else?
Trial door presented.
Really, right? Yeah, right.
Trial door presented.
Let's try it. Why not? We got 2 decent dodge tanks. Oh. Well. Oh, so we've been graced with Crimson Roselli and the Witch of the Abyss herself, have we? I've had the pleasure of fighting alongside them, but I have yet to see their full strength. This should be fun, don't you agree, Master? I'm not so eager to thrust myself into the limelight now as you are, however, as head of the Arcade family, it would be a great honor to duel against the witch that Leanne Sella herself called a friend. I don't know if I really have any right running in a crowd as tough as this, but I don't plan on getting left behind. I'll be right in the thick of things with the rest of you, you can count on that. I wouldn't have it any other way, Lady Sarah. I did have the pleasure of practicing with the Second Anguis during my time as an enforcer. I'd like to believe I've sharpened my skills since those days. I therefore have no intention of holding back, not when Lady Elisa and all the others still require my assistance.
That's a strong one. Let's kick its ass!
Interesting.
Here I come. Shadow Stitch! A chance! This one's mine! There it is! Now! Strike! Call in the shots! There it is! Chance! Strike!
Come.
And I shall. Radiant flame.
Bring it on! Lightning! There it is! Now! Strike!
Come. Time for that! Ready? Now!
Too slow.
Bring it on!
I don't know.
This one's on the house!
And I shall. You won't get.
I'll clean this up. Here I come. Shadows, a chance! This one's mine!
Right here. Foolish.
An opening. Call in the shots. one's on the chance! Strike!
I'll make this simple. Turn to dust! Ready? Now!
Too slow.
Certainly.
I think we might need something to...
Here I come. Shadows, a chance. This one's mine. I got it.
Ready yourselves. Valiant Moon.
Bring it on. This one's on the now. Strike.
Ready. You won't get... Strike!
An open.
I'll clean this up. How does this suit you? A chance. This one's mine.
My turn. Herod! Now!
Too slow.
Bring it on.
We're about to get S crafted, so... Stone Bolt actually...
Searing bolt! Call in the shots. I shall assist. Here I come. Shadows now! This one's mine!
Come!
Ready yourselves. Valiant Moon.
Come! Hey!
Ready. You won't get...
An opening!
Call in the shots. This one's on the house!
There we go.
My turn. Ha!
I'll clean this up.
What? Okay.
I'll treat you. Thanks. Foolish. Call
I
in the
guess
shots.
it doesn't really matter.
Chance! Strike!
Ready.
An opening!
That'll do.
The sky may well truly be the limit with you, disciple.
Or it may not be. You taught me that improvement is ever attainable, so long as we breathe.
Okay. Yep, Supreme Lightning Charge, True Umble Butterfly, Supreme Military Might, Supreme Radiant Wings.
Trial door
That
presented.
leaves us with Rufus, Major Arundel, Major Revolt, and Millium. Okay. Yeah, you're set up. You're kind of set up. I don't know. How do you function? Rufus, Lecter, Claire, Milliam. Let's see. Whatever, try that maybe. Yeah.
Trials available.
I don't know how well this is gonna go. I had a feeling this is who we'd see when I realized who I was teaming up with. Your Excellency, it's good to see you again. We had not even begun to repay our profound debts to our father while he was still among us. Now is our chance to demonstrate how far we've come as former Ironbloods. How well we're carrying on his legacy and will. Yeah, I don't know how much of a match for the real Gramps' Requiem is gonna be, but we gotta put on a good show here so he can rest easy knowing things are okay. Guess we should be grateful to have this opportunity to see him one last time, then. With our combined strength, there's no doubt in my mind we'll surpass His Excellency. Right.
Look strong! I'm itching to go!
There!
Why not?
God, that's a lot of health.
On guard.
Hunt you down!
Ready.
Perk up! Thanks much.
Go in!
Let's see, Criminal Raid, Dark Requiem, White Decoration, Infinity Order, and Fool's Ring.
Keep it up.
Start with Fool's Ring.
Fools for million!
Okay! Get him, Lammy! Go!
Good to go.
Let's see, best we got? Okay, well. Change of plans.
Ready. Arc is activated.
All right.
Hunt you down!
Good to go.
Perk up!
Thanks much.
Ready.
That tenfold!
Okay! Get laser!
I don't mind.
Interesting.
Thanks much.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is gonna take a while.
Why not? This your card? Fine card it is.
Go in! Get him, Lammy! Go!
All right.
Let's see.
Blade of darkness. Flame.
It's mine!
Oh, that's gonna be bad. Get the defense up, so maybe? But...
I misjudged you.
Bad.
Isn't Milliam supposed to be the tanky one?
I don't mind.
This has become dangerous.
Eh. Whatever.
Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you.
I don't mind.
Ready.
Thank you.
Yes.
Go in. Yeah.
As much.
I'll take
you.
care of it. Cut you down! Now flame.
It's mine. Why not?
Yeah, we're not doing a lot of damage to you, that's for sure.
This is your card? Fine card it is.
Go in. Get him, Lammy. Go.
It's my turn. Arcus activate.
I don't mind.
Weakest. Alien Wolf won't do much, gotcha.
On guard.
I'll back you up. Infinity Order!
On guard. Cut you down! Now flame.
It's mine.
Go in.
Keep it up. Fools Vermilion!
Okay. Giving it all I got. Swish, swish, kaboom! It broke.
Didn't do all that much.
An opening! Suppressing target. Mirror devices in place. Orbital laser. Fire! Mission complete. May you rest in peace.
I'm pretty sure she
I
did more
don't mind.
damage. With her other thing. breath just to...
Thanks!
Thank you. Thanks much.
Stop everyone.
Why not? This your card? Fine card it is.
Great.
I misjudged
Next kill.
Bad
What?
here.
Good to go. Yeah!
Thank you.
I don't mind.
I hate this.
Yeah!
Thanks!
Yes.
This is bad.
What?
Good to go.
Did I just waste a RAM capsule?
Thank you.
Ready. Ha!
Thanks!
Why not?
That's not an impede. Okay, well, this is fun.
Damn it.
Great!
I can't fall here.
Interesting.
Did I not just use, like, 4 RAM capsules to get people up? Like,
Thanks
what the
much.
hell?
I misjudged you.
Bad.
Why not?
Thank you. Got tenfold.
Why not?
Thank you.
I'll take care of it.
Why not? Yeah!
Come on, this is the last one.
Here's a pick-me-up.
Back tenfold.
It's my turn.
Could be doing better.
Okay. Here I go.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll heal you.
Thanks.
Good to go.
Before taking a strength up, sure.
Ha!
Are you...
Judged you.
Bad here.
He had no tell on that. Okay. That's fine, whatever. I'm just gonna... Okay, can't have equip, that's fun. Diamond Nova you are for 100. Guessing Q Shield Gem. There we go. Do the Grail look at Loa, I guess? And the... You're still blue.
Trial door presented. Trial door presented.
Then, let's try it again.
What excellent spirit. Back tenfold.
Why not?
Yes.
I'll take care of it. Perk up!
Thanks much.
And then Milliam's just kind of here, so...
Keep it up. Fools Vermilion!
Go in. Get lasered!
There!
Here's a pick-me-up.
It's my turn. Arcus activate.
Why not?
Sure.
Thanks.
Ready.
I don't mind. How about a little fun? Down.
Too late. On guard.
Keep it up. Fools Vermilion!
All right. Blade of darkness. Tear them out, flame.
It's mine!
Ha!
Go in.
Okay, so...
Get him, Lammy! Go!
Ready.
You should go into Super Mode here.
I don't mind. All right.
Ready.
Heat things up.
I'll back you up. Infinity Order! It's my turn.
Why not? Okay.
Yep.
On guard. Cut you down! Now, flame.
It's mine!
Go in. Lammy, time transform!
I don't think we've actually seen her throughout this entire game, so...
Terra Breaker!
Ha! turn.
Now you know what.
There! Now! An opening!
That should do it.
Battle complete. Good work, everyone.
Amazing what just changing one character up can do. Renegade Edge to Renegade Edge 2, Heat Up 2, Frigid Rain 2, and Megaton Press 2. Now, all that leaves is the Bernie Boy. There he is. Okay. I mean, really, that's the best we can do. Right? Like, this is the strongest I can make him, I'm pretty sure. Actually, I mean, technically. Technically, the Solomon Guard is better.
Trial door presented.
Let's go for it, why not?
Think you can make this
I
a
already
little
tried
fun?
it once on Abyss, so...
Not gonna let me down, are ya? Now it's getting fun. More. Give me more of this. Mind if I turn up the heat?
I don't think I'm gonna be doing 700,000 damage to you.
This one's a scorcher! It doesn't help fire! Little! My blood's boiling! Now for something a little different! Take that! It doesn't help fire! How about burn to ash? More. Give me more of this.
So we did half of his health. Yeah, a little less than half.
How about burn to ash?
You were really fast.
Now it's getting fun. More. Give me more of this. Think I'll pull out this little number for burn through. Splatter. Think I'll pull out this little number for once. Take this. How about burn to ash? More. Give me more of this. Think I'll pull out this little number for burn through. Little. Yeah. You're pushing me pretty hard. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Incandescent Hellfire to Incandescent Hellfire. It got stronger. Wow. Alright, well, that's all of the trials, I believe. So all that leaves me, I think, is...
Connecting to Reverie Garden database.
the second beyond the Reverie. Yep, but minute fragments of memories drifting in an endless ocean, memories of what will be in the near future. Could they be shadows of the tangled threads woven by Elysium, or perhaps faded illusions that slip through the cracks of time and space? I sure don't know. There are none who know the answer. Yeah, we did another Hot Spring Paradise, so we'll do an unconventional student. April year 1208 of the Septium calendar. Aramis Academy is a famous educational institute in the Calvardian capital of Edith. The name derives from an artist central to Calvard's democratic revolution 100 years ago. This was also reflected in its goal of nurturing new talent and helping to forge a brighter future for a new republic. The Academy placed great value on traditional education, of course, but it also encouraged the perspectives of new cultures and values, attracting many an independent mind from across Zemuria. It was a storied place of learning that reflected the Republic's views as a whole. This story, for its part, begins not long after the springtime festival held yearly to welcome the new student body. It was just another morning at the Academy, countless students shuffling through its grounds, when one of them in particular happened to draw an unusual amount of attention. The young lady had long, soft violet hair crowned with a black ribbon. Her figure had been cut very respectably as she matured into a young woman of 17 years, and yet her face still held traces of girlhood days bygone. The beauty she was, she never failed to turn inquisitive heads as she strolled along. Her name was Ren Bright. Okay. So Ren's going to an academy in Calvard? She was a second-year student from Genis Royal Academy in the Burl, now studying at Amaris as part of an exchange program. She had only just arrived in the spring. Ren's goal in attending was not to further her education. She had been considered highly gifted since she was a child, having already earned several doctorates in years past. And there was little more a new academy could reasonably teach her. Her goal, in reality, was to use it as a front to operate freely in Calvard. It was hard to find one better than being a student. She already found the role relatively foolproof during her time at Genis. Even if there were limits to how much a student could get away with, society as a whole was soft on school children. To move freely would also require drawing as little attention as possible. She aimed to conduct herself modestly, as any elegant young lady who wished to remain unseen should during her time at Amaris. There's just one very big problem with this plan. Good morning, Miss Bright. Isn't she gorgeous? Look, I see her. She's so beautiful, and everyone says she's just as smart, too. All she had to do was walk down the hall to be showered with greetings and whispers of envy and admiration. Her looks alone were already enough to make her the talk of the school, but after one of the teachers let it slip that she received a perfect score in her entrance exam, there was suddenly not a single person who didn't know her name. The other students cared not how much she wanted to avoid drawing attention. She was getting it whether she liked it or not. Naturally, not everyone was pleased with the blooming popularity this new transfer student had attained in less than a month. While most were busy fawning over Ren's arrival that morning, another group watched the charade unfold from the shadows, echoing audible tuts of displeasure. Ren had yet to be enrolled in any clubs, so as soon as the day's lessons had come to an end, she packed her belongings and stood to leave. A word, if I may, Miss Bright. It was a fellow classmate, surrounded by a small faction of students clearly loyal to their King Bee. Certainly. Though instinct told her this was not going to be a conversation she wanted to have, she made an effort to pretend otherwise. She would not be provoked into behaving as anything but a mature, modest young lady. I've been wanting to get to know you better for some time now. You see, so I was wondering if you might join me for dinner this evening. The boy, Ronald Griffith, presented a gentlemanly smile. Ren was very much used to being asked out like this, and never once did she accept. She always made up some excuse to turn them down. Today would be no different. I'm ever so sorry, but I'm afraid I have something urgent to take care of after school today. Some other time, perhaps? That was usually enough to get them to give up, but Ronald was a persistent one. Well, that won't do. I have something very important to discuss with you, and I've already booked us a table at a very fine restaurant, so we could discuss in detail. Is there really no way your business can wait? There was something ominous about his smile. Ren couldn't help but be cautious when what he was thinking. I'm afraid I can't. I'm so sorry, as you've gone out of your way to prepare ahead of time. Still, I could spare a little time now, so I'd be happy to talk here if that's alright. So not tonight, then? A pity. Ronald's tone read one less of genuine sadness and more irritation, that things were not going according to plan. Well aware that he let slip his true feelings on the matter, he quickly composed himself and smiled. Now is better than never, I suppose. This does concern everyone in the room, so perhaps it's all for the better said here. To this, Ren glanced around the room, noticing that only she, Ronald, and his lackeys were all who remained. Most were likely on their way home or in their respective clubs. While some would have ordinarily been in the classroom at this hour, she was certain none wanted anything to do with Ronald and his group. He took a step toward her, then began to speak. I'm well aware, Miss Bright, that you have come all the way from distant Liberl to be here. It's not unusual for students to transfer from afar for family reasons, but I hear in your case you came to Cover just to learn in these hallowed halls. I cannot help but deeply admire your spirit and thirst for knowledge. Pure theatrics, this one. At the same time, I worry about you. Brilliant you may be, but living alone in a far-off land must be a terribly lonely and challenging affair. We all need someone to depend on in our lives, and that would be especially so in your situation. So if you don't mind me saying so, Miss Bright, I believe you're in need of someone to look after you, to protect you. At last he shut up, giving Ron a chance to respond. She scrutinized him closely. In short, you'd like for me to join your circle of friends, correct? Ronald's smarmy smile broadened. His father was a senator in the Republic's parliament, meaning he had a significant amount of political power. His son used this to his full advantage. Ever since joining the academy, Ronald had used his father's name to form a faction of sorts among the students, forcibly building his reputation until he was the leading candidate for student council president in the election stage in half a month's time. His goal, Ren assumed, was to bring the hottest talk of the academy into his faction to further secure his chances of victory. I think you'll find that joining us would help you feel much more secure at home here. Or perhaps you don't yet appreciate just how much of a difference having someone like me backing you would make on the life of an exchange student. True, she mused inwardly. Being in a group of high social standing would make it easier for her to gather information. If she could leverage his father's connections to build more of her own, that would pay itself in dividends in the days to come. The pompous boy had no way of knowing the actual circumstances that brought her to Amaris, but his proposal was in fact very beneficial to her. She returned his smile with a modest one of her own as she answered. You're kind to think so much of me, but I'm afraid I'll have to decline. Clear, unambiguous rejection. Ronald's whisker still curled into a smile, but he could not hide the twitch in his brow, nor could his lackeys hide their shock. They had, by all accounts, expected her to answer the opposite. Are you sure you won't reconsider, Miss Bright? Surely someone as brilliant as yourself can see why accepting my offer would be in your best interest. I fear if you don't now, you may, well, come to regret it. The last words were a hair slower and deliberate to intimidate her. Ren, of course, was never going to fall for it. I'll admit it's a tempting proposal, tempting enough to inspire one to consider helping a certain someone win the student council election. If only that someone weren't you. What did you just say? The sudden taunt caught him completely off guard, resulting in a flare of irritation escaping him. Ren, for her part, was unruffled by the change. I imagine you don't need me to explain why, but I will to be sure. I've been very aware that threatening glares I always attract on the way to school every morning have been coming from all of you. They've been a constant in my life ever since just before the festival. all were flabbergasted by the statement, their silence confirming what she said to be true. She continued, "Now you have every right to regard me with caution. I'm well aware of how much I stand out despite my best efforts. Taking potential threats under your own wing is a strategically sound move, too. However, that your target was so easily able to see through your scheme shows everyone here just how inept you really are. I have better things to do than assist someone so incompetent and small-minded." With a shrug and a sigh in a somewhat dramatic fashion, Ren stood before Ronald, his shoulders trembling from rage. "Good day to you all." Ren gave a courteous nod of acknowledgement before leaving the room, paying no mind to the wide eyes and open slack jaws she left behind. So, Agate ended up getting pretty beat up from another one of Mom's crazy jobs she threw at him. We did get some good data out of it, but ouch. Your mom's always so funny. That night in the dormitory, Ren and Tita were engrossed in deep conversation through their laptops. But it's always same old with all of you. I'm surprised there's anything of Agate left with how often you tell me that she has him nearly facing death. You two are in a rut. I know something that could spice things up. Maybe try adding a little romance into the mix, like a couple of bright-eyed lovebirds we know. But we have agreed to go somewhere next week, so we're not in a complete rut. Well, isn't that something? The stairs to adulthood await you, my dear friend. Ren. Tita graduated from the branch campus in Erebonia just as Ren left for Calvard, leaving them no time to spend with one another in person. That wasn't ideal, of course, but from a hint of sadness came the habit of talking like this once a week so they could stay in each other's lives. They discussed anything from their new lives and environments to the fruits of their research, occasionally stumbling into a serious topical matter or two along the way. It sounds like a legal confrontation between the Verne Company and Epstein Foundation is inevitable at this point. I know, I can't believe this is really happening. Both frowned at their screens. A recent development concerning the Calvardian industrial giant Verne Company had become a key source of concern for them of late. It began soon after Crossbow returned to normalcy after the Supreme Leader's takeover the previous year. Professor Erica Russell approached the Verne Company to propose that they join the West Amurian Tech Union that she had been hard at work forming. And to no one's surprise, they refused. But before Erica and the rest of the engineers involved could even finish getting ready to go and change Verne's mind, something happened to make the Union the least of anyone's priorities. The independent development of a new generation of Orbmans, and their generations-long partner in this subset of technology, the Epstein Foundation, would not be a collaborator. The latter had been key supporters of Zamarian's orbital development and orbital technology in general since their very inception. Battle Orbits were no exception to this. The Foundation had known their way around them since they were very first model, drafting the incredible concept that had been used as a base ever since. Even the Rhineford Company before the Battle of Jormungand had not thought to develop their Arcus model on their own, instead favoring to develop them in a partnership with the Story Institute. The announcement was quite simply unprecedented, and it sent shockwaves through the industry. The Epstein Foundation was also less than pleased about being cast aside in this manner. While there were certainly legal concerns regarding who owned the patent to this technology, the greater concern was that their stable position in the industry as a whole was now becoming unstable. They initially responded by attempting to resolve this through peaceful means, but when those attempts proved fruitless, it was reported that they were preparing for what could only be an ugly international legal dispute. I'd say Verne has the upper hand if this ever makes it to court. Unlike their previous round of Orbits, the 6th generation is designed to set a whole new standard. All of its main features are packed with new tech, with some new features still being kept under wraps. I wonder what those are. What could they be trying to develop that's important enough to ruin their relationship with the Foundation? Though I have heard about the government telling the Verne Company to focus on weapons development. I have too. It sounds like they're planning to significantly revamp the military's weaponry. The official story is that they're planning on slimming the military down, but if they're pairing that with the latest in weapons development, then they're just as powerful, maybe more so. As part of the war ceasefire agreement, Erebonia was required to downsize their military, bringing it more in line with that of Calvard's. Yet if the Republic were to expand the capabilities of its military, this recently forced equilibrium in superpowers would be quickly broken. Whatever may be true, I've got a lot of questions I need answers to. Maybe it'd be worth visiting the Vern Company's headquarters in Basel at some point. You haven't learned anything more about where Professor Hamilton is at the moment, right? Nothing new or concrete, at least. It sounds like she's continuing her research eastward. But I haven't heard anything more specific than that. Mom and Grandpa haven't had any luck in contacting her either. I'm not surprised, since that area isn't very well connected, but it's still unfortunate. She's a lot more personable than Professor Schmidt, so having her on our side would help a lot. Tina could only laugh. Yeah, there's a lot of worrying stories going around about the PMCs and stuff like that. It makes me wonder if none of this would even be happening if she was still acting as an advisor for the Vern Company. The deeper into the conversation they went, the more Tina could feel her spirit sinking. The political climate in Western Zemuria was unusually stable at the moment, with its nations basking in prosperity. But she couldn't shake the feeling that this peace was built over rotting wood, and that it could all come crashing down with but the slightest provocation. This was becoming especially true in the tech world, as it had undergone rapid growth in recent years compared to the other fields. So rapid, in fact, that no base could possibly sustain its sudden weight without cracks beginning to form. Try not to dwell too much on the worst-case scenario, Tita. This peace might rest on a knife's edge, but there's still plenty we can do to preserve it. That's why I'm here right now, and that's also why you're working so hard too. We could find a million problems in the world if we wanted, but pessimism isn't going to make them go away, right? The words filled Tita with the right amount of comfort she needed in that precise moment. Yeah, I guess you're right. Thanks, Ren. They continued on, losing track of time as they talked well into the night. Before they knew it, the clock had struck 12. Well, it's getting really late, so I should probably be going. I'll talk to you soon, okay? Alright, good night, Tita. Night. Oh. Tita suddenly remembered something. The exclamation stopped Ren just as she was about to end the call. Estelle and Joshua told me to ask if you're doing okay in school. Those two always worry too much. You think I wasn't talking to them too? She couldn't help but remember her interaction with Ronald after class, but Ren quickly drove the thought from her mind. It wasn't worth dredging up. Tell them they can rest easy. Everything's fine. Good. They wanted me to let them know if you were being bullied so they could fly over and help. Ren could only sigh. Honestly, do they think I can't keep myself safe from a few schoolyard bullies? Actually, they said they were more worried about what you do to them than what they do to you. At her friend's silence, Tita couldn't help but burst out laughing. I worry about you too, obviously, but they're probably right. How awful of you. Even if that were to happen to me, I wouldn't do half of what you're imagining. Not anymore, anyway. See, it's saying that kind of thing that makes people worry. I'm a lady now. I need the magnanimity to forgive the transgressions of others. I'm also trying to do what I can to avoid standing out too much at school. You can try, but I think that's always been a lost cause. Anyway, now I'm really going to go before I remember anything else. Say hi to Zen for me if you run into him. I'm planning to go see him when everything calms down here, so will do. I've been meaning to go and see someone else I've been indebted to in the past, too. By the time the two of them had finished talking and ended the call, one day had given way to the next. The morning dawned yet another day of school. However, just as she left her classroom in the main building at the start of lunch and went to descend the staircase, she felt someone suddenly draw near from behind her. Reflexively, she dodged out of the way. A female student then entered her field of vision. She had lost her balance, her expression a mix of fear and surprise. She passed through the spot Ren had been moments before, but her momentum showed no sign of fading. And so it didn't stop her. She was going to start tumbling down the stairs. Ren was quick to grab her and pull her close. She supported the girl's weight with one arm, with all the grace of someone taking part in a ballroom dance, saving her from falling. Several students happened to witness the event unfold and could not help but elicit gasps of admiration. Noticing that the girl's eyes were still unfocused, Ren gently addressed her. Are you alright? You aren't hurt, are you? Finally realizing the situation she was in, the girl whose face had become quite red quickly straightened her posture in a fluster. Yes, I'm okay. You're Ren Bright from the next class over, aren't you? Thank you so much for helping me. You're very welcome. But I would have to caution you from losing your composure like that right next to a staircase. Do you have some really urgent business to take care of? The girl first frowned in response, then paused to think, then answered. Nothing I can think of. It's weird, but even though it was probably my imagination, it felt like someone had pushed me from behind. Obviously, no one here would do that, so I must have just bumped into someone by accident. She thanked her rescuer again before disappearing into the distance. The situation she had deemed her imagination, however, lingered in Ren's mind. If I hadn't sensed something was amiss, both of us would have fallen down the stairs. We could have been badly hurt. Was it really just a coincidence, or was it a deliberate action by someone who wants to hurt me? If it was the latter, she didn't have anything to support this theory, but with it came a familiar sensation. The feeling of malicious stares focusing on her from the shadows. It took surprisingly little time for her suspicions to gain evidence. After finishing gym class the next day, Ren made for the classroom and began preparing for her next lesson. As she did, she immediately noticed something was amiss. All of her textbooks had been glued shut with an excessive amount of adhesive. Try as she did to open them, it was a lost cause. To get even a single page, it was an obvious attempt to harass her. The culprits behind the act were equally obvious. Not far from Ren was sitting Ronald Griffith, and his lackeys, whom she so memorably turned away 2 days prior, were snickering to themselves. Their eyes mockingly focused on Ren all the while. They're not even interested in hiding what they're like anymore. I'm sure at this point they want me to know who did it to intimidate me. This latest development also confirmed in her mind that they were responsible for trying to push her down the stairs the day before. What a pitiful sight they were. Because she refused to join the group, her existence was, in their eyes, now nothing more than a hindrance to Ronald's campaign for student council president. They would stop at nothing to either break her spirit and force her to join, or shame her into lowering her popularity among the student body. It didn't matter that Ren had no interest in taking part in the election. After further inspecting the state of her textbooks, Ren's expression grew difficult to read. I think I can make them usable again, but not in what little time I have before class. The bell soon chimed to signal the start of her lesson. Ren left her textbooks out on top of her desk, making no effort to open them throughout. Her instructor was, of course, less than pleased about this perceived slight against them, picking her to answer a question as an attempt to chide her poor behavior. Miss Bright, please read the next paragraph aloud for us. Ron and his friends let out a series of pleased giggles at this, their minds delighting at the thought of a flustered Ren being told off and humiliated in front of the class. But what transpired in reality played out very differently from their fantasies. Without missing a beat, Ren did exactly as she was told, reciting the selected paragraph she had been asked to read word for word. And all while her textbook remained closed. Did you memorize the entire book? Even the instructor couldn't hide their surprise. But of course, as a student of Amaris Academy, I would never dare to compromise in preparing for my lessons. Ren responded with such grace that she, of course, drew in more sighs and coos of admiration from both her instructor and peers alike. It was only Ronald and his posse who groaned with sullen expressions. The next incident came on Ren's way to school the next morning. She entered the school gates with the horde of other students and was just about to step into the building when she noticed a foul smell coming from above her. She looked upward, noticing a portion of fencing surrounding the building's rooftop was falling directly above her. Other students noticed at the same time, letting out screams of horror and worries that they could do nothing about it. I could get out of the way easily if I wanted, but the fencing was over 2 argent length. She could escape unharmed, but the other students around her would likely not. That was a risk she was unwilling to take. Grasping the battle ornament hidden in her bag, she cried out, "Airstrike!" A sphere of wind formed in response to her incantation, flying upwards at high speeds. She carefully controlled its power so that instead of sending the fence flying, it simply cancelled out its momentum instead, allowing her to hop and catch it with ease. That was no accident. The smell makes it obvious. It was a distinct scent of liquid extracted from a certain plant monster. One of its properties was to imitate the natural corrosion of metal, resulting in its application of certain solvents. This made the fencing falling a deliberate action the perpetrator had been trying to disguise as an accident, and with Ren having been the target of several malicious acts already, the culprit was clear. Again, she could feel the presence of those familiar, hateful stares pouring into her from the shadows. But again as well, they're not the only ones with eyes on her. Whoa! That was awesome! Did you see that? Is there anything she can't do? Ren's quiet meditation was disrupted by a multitude of cheers and applause from all around her. As if she was a performer just about to leave the stage, she gave an elegant bow in response. This would not be the last time she endured harassment from Ronald's group, but each and every time, They thought they had bested her, she would handle herself with exemplary skill, their efforts only serving to make her more popular. The state of affairs continued for several more days before a seemingly out-of-patience Ronald summoned Ren behind the school building after lessons were over for the day. He stood oppressively before her, his lackeys behind him, with the composure he attempted to feign before, now replaced by plain, vile anger. Let me give it to you straight, Ren Bright. You are an eyesore. Even that gentlemanly air he impersonated before was gone. Really? Well, that's not a very polite thing to say to a classmate. Don't try to act cute and innocent. I put too much damn time and mirror into building my position up at this academy. But who's always the center of attention instead? It's you. It's always you. It's like you're deliberately trying to sabotage my chances of success. And that's the last thing I can afford right now. The more livid Ronald became, the more unruffled Ren was in turn. You're only sabotaging yourself by setting me up to succeed over and over again. You are aware of that, aren't you? Had she not been forced to defend herself against him over and over again, she would not have received nearly as much attention. This being pointed out caused Ronald to return an audible tut of frustration. Who cares how it happened? The point is, this has gone on long enough, so I'm gonna have to ask you to step up the stage for a while. What do you mean? Ronald seemed to resent some of his initial cool from when they first talked as he answered. Oh, I mean something very simple. You just won't come to school until the election is over. And if I refuse? To this, he raised a hand, and in response, his lackeys stepped forward to surround her. The boys were unusually well built for their age, showing off their hulking forms in hopes of intimidating her. Refusing is not an option, I'm afraid, if you aren't going to oblige me willingly. We'll just have to make it so you can't come to school for a while. His lackeys cracked their knuckles dramatically to clarify their leader's intent. Well, that's no good. I think we both know that would constitute a grave violation of the school rules. Something about her inflection caused him to mistake her commentary as showing a hint of fear, further fueling the desire to dominate the situation. No one's watching a place like this, and even if someone did happen to see my father's a politician, he can make it go away. If they don't willingly choose to ignore what they saw in defense to my position, that is. Everyone at this academy seems to already know their place, you see. Everyone except you. His smile then was so unpleasant that a sigh escaped Ren. Oh, I think you're the one who doesn't know your place. I don't want to be rough with him after what Tita said, but he needs to be taught a good hard lesson. Ronald continued on, oblivious to what was running through his apparent victim's mind. Now, do as I say. His lackeys drew closer, readying to seize her. I'll keep it mild, but I still want this to hurt for them. Just enough to set them on the right track. I don't think Estella Joshua would object to that. But just as she was about to act... Stop this at once! A girl's shout could be heard from the direction of the school building. She was, of course, not shouting at Ren. And who are you? Ronald was visibly irritated. Though the girl appeared to be visibly nervous, she continued to stand her ground. I didn't mean to listen in, but I couldn't help but overhear what was happening here. You can't go through with this. What you're doing is wrong. The girl stepped forward till she was directly in front of Ren to protect her from her schoolyard bullies. As she did so, the light revealed sleek, dazzling blonde hair that shimmered much like the sunshine above. Ren recognized her to be a first-year student who lived in the dormitory next to her own. They weren't close to one another. At most, they only exchanged polite greetings with one another as they passed each other in the hall. She always seemed like a quiet, polite young woman with a good upbringing. However, not the type whose eyes would glow with resolve as she put her well-being in the line for someone else's. Ren was surprised by this, as was Ronald. Though he was less than impressed, he never fathomed that another student would dare to resist him. One thing he did sense was that her resistance was little more than a brave front. With excitement at the thought of stripping that front bare, he grew a sadistic smile and addressed her. Is it now? Well, how fortunate for me that I have you to show me the error of my ways. Ren can wait. You're a first year, I assume? I'm gonna need to give you a lesson in just how right and wrong works in our society. Upon a signal, his lackey shifted to surround their new target over Ren. She began to tremble as danger closed in on her, but still she didn't move. Don't you dare! This time it was Ren who spoke up. I'll give you what you want, so don't you dare touch her. But... You sure about that? She wasn't planning on that response, but Ronald was more than happy to have his win in any form. I'll stay away from school for a while. That's what you want, right? But then you... The experience of studying abroad has been rather tiring for me, so maybe I do need some rest. Ren's voice was gentle in an attempt to assuage the kind girl's concerns. Ronald, meanwhile, made no attempt to hide the joy he felt at victory, laughing heartily with all the glee of a spoiled child. Good, now everyone knows their place here. I see no reason to harm either of you now that I got what I want. Consider yourself lucky now that I've decided to let you go. Ronald turned away and made to leave, his lackeys following suit. Good day to you, then. When next we meet, the school will be all mine. And then he was gone. With only the girls left behind the school building, the younger of the two looked up at her senior, concern welling in her expression. I really am all right. You're very kind to worry. Ren's smile was one of genuine kindness. From then on, Ren did indeed stop coming to school, citing illness as the official reason behind her absence. The students then gathered in the Academy's auditorium several days later for the long-awaited student council election. Aramis Academy as a whole placed great importance on the autonomy of its students, and as such, the student council exercised an unusual amount of power. It also weighed upon them a massive amount of responsibility, such as being the sole planner of the Academy's festival, a symbol and celebration of the spring in the capital. This, however, also led to the position being a major status symbol, even long after graduation. All of this was why a large number of students put their names forward to become the student council president every year. Yet this year, a great majority of the most prominent candidates dropped out under mysterious circumstances, leaving only Ronald and others associated with him on the ballot. I couldn't exactly boast about winning by default. Ronald and his supporters sat in the rest area, chuckling among themselves at the whole affair. Perhaps his name wasn't the only one on the ballot, but none of the others had done any certifiable campaigning, meaning his election was positively assured. Eventually, the time came for him to give his speech. It was a compelling one. He played the part of a respectable young gentleman as he delivered it. Speaking with the same silver tongue he inherited well from his father. There were some moments where he failed to hide his arrogance, but as no one else had prepared a speech to give, this was not the blow to his campaign it otherwise would have been. Okay. Now if you could turn your eyes to the screen. The screen he spoke of was at the back of the auditorium. This was a rather notable feature to have in a school building, to have anywhere. It was installed several years prior for use in lectures and to display recreational films. Other nations had yet to indulge in such luxuries, showing just how far ahead Calvard was in its technology. Up until then, students had used it to display photographs during their speeches, but Ronald intended to take it another step further. He wanted to share a promotional video, and not a simple makeshift, self-produced one that might ordinarily be presented by an amateur, but rather a professional work he paid a considerable amount of mirror for. Its quality was genuinely impressive. His victory was written in stone, but this, he knew, would cement it that much more. Convinced that this would serve as the perfect beginning to his ascension to the top of the social hierarchy, he started the video. The musical number it plays was rousing. Fitting, what followed then was Ronald appearing on screen. So, how much mirror do you want for supporting me? I can make it worth your while. What? The video playing before them was not the one intended. Rather than an inspiration show of what he could bring to the student body, it was a recording of him buying off one of his opponents just days before. As hushed whispers of confusion spread through the auditorium, the next clip played. If you know what's good for you, you'll withdraw your candidacy right now. Or the only thing you'll be president of is a hospital bed. Next was an equally unexpected scene of Ronald intimidating another candidate into withdrawing from the race. As it continued, Ronald realized what was going on. Someone out there had replaced his carefully prepared video with another. The initial hesitant whispers exploded into loud enough murmurs that he had to raise his voice over them in an attempt to quell the situation. This is a forgery! Someone's attempting to frame me! But just at that moment, as if waiting for his cry to announce, a girl's voice resounded from the auditorium's entrance. I'm afraid it's all entirely genuine. Her voice rang out with wonderful clarity, charming all who heard it. She ran her hand through her violet hair and flipped it back as she talked and walked slowly toward the stage. Bribing potential threats, blackmailing, threatening, even executing violence against others, and many other causes of bullying besides. You're guilty on every single account, Ronald Griffith. Before anyone could fully understand what was happening, the student was on the stage, staring Ronald down. All eyes were fixed upon this elegant figure. Indeed, without any effort at all, she had the air of a protagonist from some epic tale making her long-awaited appearance. Damn it, Red Bright! Must you insist on getting in my way at every turn? He growled through a sheet of sheer anger. In contrast, the recently absent Ren responded with brilliant composure. You're the one getting in the way of the fair running of this important election. Your countless crimes have made a mockery of this whole process. Ren then turned from Ronald to the rest of the student body as she continued to list his crimes alongside the still-running video. Some elicited frowns, others sympathy, others complete silence. But by the time she was finished, all were united in a single overpowering emotion. Anger. It brings me no joy to say this about a fellow student, but I'm afraid it must be said. Ronald Griffith, you do not deserve to even attend this prestigious academy, much less be the president of the student council. Similar censures from the other students followed in a rapid succession. Yeah, she's right. Stop ruining our academy. You've gone too far. Ren's accusation wasn't the only reason for their anger. The students' remarks had long loathed Ronald's oppressive behavior. They only hadn't spoken out before because they were afraid of his father's power. Now that they realized he could be stopped, their anger has reached an explosive boiling point. Ronald suddenly found himself at the center of a torrent of abuse. He looked to his lackeys for support, but even they refused to meet his gaze. It then dawned on him just how fragile all he thought he had built was. Rage gave way to an instant, deep despair, and casting a glare of pure hatred toward Ren, Ronald hurriedly sprinted out of the auditorium. Only when he was completely out of sight did the air erupt with cheers of joy. In the end, addressing the aftermath of the election took long enough that by the time she left for the gates, it was already evening. Yet, even with how late it was, instead of walking her usual route home, she stepped off the path and entered an unoccupied park. How does this work? No one's going to interrupt us here, so how about you come on out? In response to her words, Ronald emerged before her for the first time since he ran away earlier in the day, and with 10 or so companions in tow. These men weren't his usual lackeys, but instead vicious figures with dark expressions and gaudy clothing. They were clearly not students of the academy. More than likely, they belonged to some local gang. You don't keep very good company outside of school now, do you? With how they're dressed up, I assume you must be off to party or something? I'm going to wipe that smug smirk right off that face for good, Ren Bright. My dazzling future in politics was guaranteed, but now you've gone and ruined everything. What am I supposed to say to my father now? That's your problem, not mine. Or are you so small a man that you can't own up to the consequences of your own mistakes? Not a second passed between his outburst and the manner in which she snapped back, causing his temper to grow twice as vile. That's it. I don't care what it takes. You're gonna pay for thinking you could cross me and get away with it. Have at her. There won't be any consequence for going too far. My father will see to that. The men sprung into action upon Ronald's signal, but what followed made them doubt their eyes. Ronald couldn't understand what just unfolded before him. His eyes relayed the information well enough, but his mind rejected it completely. The second after he ordered his new lackeys to attack, Red had produced a monstrously sized black and gold scythe from thin air. This in itself was beyond comprehension, but it wasn't the last thing to be so. The scene was like a cat toying with a powerless, cornered mouse, except in this shocking case, Ren was a cat and his men were the mice. They surrounded her at first, and yet, all it took was a single swing of her conjured weapon to cause most of them to collapse to the ground. In less than 10 seconds, their confidence had crumbled with their bodies. The mice made to scurry as fast as they could, but the cat gleefully gave chase. There were even given moments when she let a few of them think they'd gotten away, only for her to immediately close the gap between them. It was only after she was bored that she would knock them unconscious like the rest, but she would seek delight in their next hunt. Like heavy sacks of potatoes, the men fell one by one, one by one, one by one, until only Ren and Ronald were left. This can't be happening. The young man was still struggling to come to terms with what he had just witnessed, as Ren stretched her limbs like a bored child, still gearing up to play. Amateurs, every last one of them. I thought I could at least have a little fun. Oh, but don't you worry, I didn't actually slaughter them. She turned her gaze from the spectacle of her own creation to Ronald. Would you be open to giving me a little more entertainment, perhaps, Ronald? Ronald twitched in fear at the mention of his name. In this moment, she was now nothing more than a beast in human skin. Stay away from me! My father's in Parliament, you know. Try anything on me, and you'll regret it. Her response was an expression of pure pity, before tossing what appeared to be a magazine at his feet. It's one of today's tabloids. You might find its contents relevant. What? At first he was baffled by the shift, but the second he peeked at the cover, his face went pale. Representative Griffith, suspected of bribery and connections to organized crime. Read the headline in giant, punchy lettering. There's a whole special feature on your dearest daddy, complete with evidence. It mentions that the CID is going to be conducting an investigation as well, so this may be the last day you can say he's in Parliament. My condolences. No! So visceral was his shock at the news. The simple word was all he could muster. Even then, Ren hadn't finished. So, now that he's been removed from the equation, I'll ask again. Would you be open to giving me a little more entertainment? She edged closer and closer, scythe in hand and a sadistic smile lacing her lips. Ronald tried to retreat in fear before tripping over a rock and falling hopelessly on his backside. All he could do was watch her as though she were the Grim Reaper, tears and snot streaming down his face. Be a doll and play with me, then you'll understand why they used to call me the Angel of Slaughter. She raised her scythe above her head and readied to swing it downward, before realizing what she'd said. Oops, a grown woman wouldn't play with dolls, though would she? And here I thought I could better control my childish glee. She covered her mouth with her free hand, blushing with a feminine modesty at her slip-up. None of this was behavior befitting the proper lady she wanted to reflect. After composing herself, she turned her attention back to her prey, only to see he was already unconscious. Finished. As she left the park, a calm young man called out to her. I certainly am. Ren met eyes with a brown-skinned young man leaning covertly against one of the trees. It was safe to assume he had witnessed the entire affair unfold. He glanced inside the park for a brief moment before speaking with slight but genuine admiration. You really are something. In what way? In every way. Even if I was more struck by that hacking ability of the famous Kitty than the combat prowess of the infamous Angel of Slaughter. Still hard to believe you managed to find dirt on his bigwig dad that easily. Ren's response was matter-of-fact, showing no signs his praise had gone to her head. Most people just aren't as cautious about cybersecurity as they ought to be. Understandable with how new most are to it. Of course, it isn't nearly as easy as this was when you're dealing with leading corporation and politicians at the top of the food chain. You made it sound like you've tried before. Maybe I have. Ren's smile was both cryptic and daring and darling. I've been more impressed with you. You were so quick to write a piece that scathing while also finding me exactly the proof I needed. I'm glad Grace introduced us. Just doing my job. The man's name was Dingo. He was a professional reporter for a tabloid. He was extremely capable at his job, very well connected, and held a reputation for never shying away from danger. After being introduced to one another by Grace Lynn, he and Ren made a deal with one another just a few days prior. The terms were simple. Dingo would provide Ren with proof of Ronald's misdemeanors, and Ren would use her hacking abilities to provide evidence of his father's crimes. Both were now reaping the rewards of the other's success. Though I'll admit I did get some help from a friend. He was none too pleased about being asked to look into a scummy politician's equally scummy son, but he pulled through. Oh, you just have all kinds of connections, don't you? She did sense someone other than Dingo was acting on her behalf while she was off school, but she wasn't sure who that someone was. This curious sensation regarding their identity remained as she continued the conversation. You know, I'm surprised you didn't meet with any resistance in running that story. That just goes to show how big of a fan the government was of Griffith. They left him alone because he didn't actively oppose the current president's party, but from the CID's perspective, this chance to take him down was about as good as it was gonna get. That does sound like something Miss Taito Master over there would do. I can't say I like the feeling of being used by her, but oh well. Dingo then made a curious observation. I have to wonder why you went to such lengths to get rid of a small fry like him. He really bother you that much? Ren glanced briefly at Ronald, still collapsed on the ground of the park, before shrugging her shoulders dismissively. Not in the least. I didn't intend for this to go as far as it did, either. I only wanted to teach him enough of a lesson so he'd leave me alone, but... It was then that the younger student who tried to save her came to mind. I think the students deserve much better student council president than him. She let out a titter that was most refined. As Ren expected, the allegation led Ronald's father to resign from Parliament, while he resigned from Aramis Academy. The group of students who exerted power over the student body with his backing vanished overnight as a result, bidding peace to return to the grounds for the very first time in too long. One thing, however, came about from this that Ren had not expected in the least. Here are all the documents relating to the next month's budget. The Student Council's new president accepted the documents from the blonde-haired first year in charge of general affairs, perusing them straight away. After Ronald dashed from the auditorium on the day of the election, most of those in his group who put down their name dropped out in a timely fashion. Voting still took place even then, but once all was said and done, nearly 70% of the votes cast were disqualified. This was because they were all in favor of someone who never had put her name on the ballot, Ren Bright. Aramis Academy was known for how little its staff interfered with the many liberties it gave its students, but this time the staff was clearly concerned that dissatisfaction with Ronald was going to present dire problems in the future. The teachers then chose to directly negotiate with Ren, and in the face of such fervent demand, she reluctantly accepted the position of the Student Council President. None of her duties posed a challenge to her, but by accepting it, she had completely and utterly failed her initial goal of avoiding attention. I wonder if this is how the Thor's Branch Campus first Student Council President felt when he was elected. Even I couldn't believe when Tita told me. Alright, it is what it is, I suppose. I'll just have to make use of this as best as I can. Sunlight beamed into the student council room. The blonde-haired girl and two of her friends struggled with the new workload they were adjusting to. As Ren sat there, ears open to random talk and the occasional grumble, a thought crossed her mind. She had no end of real-world worries. The problems arising from the rapid technological development, the society's move, the ominous winds of change blustering over Calvert. But despite all of those, she wanted to enjoy her simple time here while she could. Let's say we get this work done so we can celebrate with a tea party, The arrival of spring was now a distant memory. Even if summer had yet to come, there was nothing particularly spectacular about this time. It was just another ordinary, beautiful, bright afternoon. An unconventional student. The end. There's another one. Forward, sword in hand. It's kind of what I assumed was gonna happen, honestly. September year 1207 of the Septian calendar. I cannot accept. I was not one to mince words. The hulking bearer of a veteran bracer, Zen Vantage, could not hide his disappointment, puffing out his bottom lip with a sigh as he stood before me. Not again. You gotta resign yourself to the inevitable one of these days. I've been indebted to this man who was as capable as he was kind, since my first days in the guild. Truly, I didn't wish to be a source of vexation for him, but the wish alone was not enough. I have neither the experience nor skill to be worthy of A rank, so I can't accept your recommendation. Bracers are assigned rank based on their strength and achievement, with A rank being the highest on paper at least. Its members are the very face of its beloved organization, and as such, ranks are a metaphorical badge of honor to be worn with pride. So had I received multiple recommendations from the prestigious rank in 6 months, so how had I? I spared no effort in working to hone my craft in the years I joined after school, and certainly I wouldn't classify myself as a doe-eyed newcomer, but to have my name among the greats of the guild, absolutely not. But after turning down my first recommendation, a second one had come from the guild's headquarters in Le Mans. If you ask me, you got both in spades. There's something else making you lean toward a no. Zen's awkward smile told me he had been pressured by headquarters to persuade me. I folded my arms. Setting aside whether you're overestimating me or not, which I believe you are, I would very much like to not stand out any more than I already do. I've been getting offers to be a model, too, to star in films. It's been frankly exhausting forcing him to give up. Now, what do you think would happen if I were to accept a promotion? I'll be neck-deep in the same mess all over again. Okay, that makes sense. But sorry, you're a 1-2 punch in the beauty and bronze department. Trying to lay low's a lost cause. With the kind of fans you're getting, maybe you should consider the silver screen after all. Who knows, you might walk away with an award from the film festival. Zen's laugh was hearty in contrast to my enemy's frown. Much as I respected him, he could do with showing a little more decorum. That's not funny. I understand being in the public eye to some extent is inevitable, and I've accepted it, but I'm a bracer, not an entertainer. I wasn't trying to be funny. No, you gotta find a way to let off some steam, or you're gonna break when you need to put together the most. Or when we need you put together the most. Happens to workaholics like you more often than you think. I didn't think I was pushing myself as much as he implied, but I also couldn't deny there was a nugget of truth to what he said. We were getting off topic. Just why is headquarters so desperate for you to become an A-rank bracer? I can't see the logic behind it. Well, you see, starting with what you know, the reparation for Erebonia had beefed up our economy this year. So, all kinds of new investments are pouring in from across the continent. Now, I'm no economist, but people go where the money's at. And where people go, conflict follows. That's just how it is. I saw where he was going from there, electing to expand upon the rest myself. So, now we have disputes between mega corporations and a stark increase in Jaeger activity. These are in addition to the known growth of private military companies and increased tension between mafias. You got it. You think it's bad now, it's only going to get worse from here. That's why Lamont wants to up security here while promoting our rising star. You. They see it all as good PR for the guild and a deterrent to any potential threats that are thinking about stepping out of line. Perhaps I was more vaguely aware of their goal in using me than I wanted to admit. This didn't make hearing the answer any more satisfying. If they have you asking me to play my part, then surely they have asked you to play your part already. You've been recommended for S-rank, haven't you? If you know a better deterrent than having S-ranking in Calvard, then I'd like to hear it. Zen scritched the back of his head awkwardly upon my statement. I just don't think I'm up there with someone like Cassius Bright. S isn't even an official rank, and even if it was, just look at me. You think a guy like me is a picture-perfect advertisement for the guild? I think you have the skills, achievement, and build to be one, yes? A curt, quick response. Alright, point made. I can't force you to take the recommendation, and I'm not about to be a hypocrite. Just, let me know if you change your mind, okay? With that, the conversation came to an end, and the guild's bracers gathered to begin our routine meeting of delegating open requests. This is how I preferred things. It was better to stay like this. There was a point when I wanted to be something more. I can no longer remember what that was. Sometime during my childhood it happened, I'm sure. I just recall realizing how small the world truly was. So I prayed and longed to become someone I was not. It was around high school when I thought I became that someone. Those years were unforgettable. I'll never forget the unexpected reunion that was held there. They're the priceless treasure I had gained. I truly thought I'd gotten closer to who I wanted to be. But in the end, it was just wishful thinking. My hand, once held, was now empty. And I was still a nobody. But I refused to stand still. I grew unrelenting in following the new path I chose for myself, ignoring my family's objections. My motivations had changed, however. I no longer possessed that girlhood desire of becoming something more. Of becoming someone. I just needed to keep moving, however aimless that movement was. Well, aren't we looking gorgeous today? With a whimsical wink, a familiar bartender welcomed me to his establishment. He was a tall, affable man who lived by his own rules and never hesitated to lend a helping hand to others. He reminded me much of the Crossbow City's branch receptionist from the few times I visited for work. The place was nearly empty today. I sat down on the counter seat farthest from the door as he approached. The usual, sweetheart? I stopped by here after a hard day's work on occasion, and whenever I did, I always ordered coffee and a light snack. This was not a coffee and a snack kind of day. I want something with alcohol. Even beer will do. Not at all fazed by the vagueness of my order, he walked away and started preparing my drink. It wasn't long before he returned and placed an elegant glass in front of me. I think this is a little more you than a beer. It was a beautiful cocktail composed of two colors, a clear blue and a clear blue like that of a priceless saffron and a calming jade. No doubt he could tell how disquieted my heart was and was trying to soothe it in his own way. I thanked him inwardly before daring to broach my other reason for coming. Have you learned anything more about what I asked? Apart from being a skilled bartender, he was also a well-known informant. He was extremely well connected to the guild, the press, and even the criminal underworld, but he was very careful never to overstep his bounds with that last one. Indeed, I found it to be a valuable source when needed. I wish I could say yes, but not even Dingo has any promising leads. Still, I think you got your eyes on the right district. It's only a matter of time before they get smoked out. I see. Since the guild's investigation turned up nothing, I was hoping he would better point me in the right direction, but it seemed this is going to be a lot harder than I hoped for. Things will work out. Just pace yourself and keep at it a little bit at a time. That also applies to that cocktail. It's a strong one, so don't drink it all at once. I tilted the glass delicately between my fingers as he stepped away, my mind continuing to wade through the case I was following. There had been a stark increase in illegal drugs on the market, not just any drugs either, but ones of the highly addictive, dangerous variety. Hayway, who effectively ruled over the criminal underworld in Calvert, ordinarily limited their proliferation in the market as part of their rules, limiting the number of drug wars, of course, far from the ideal elimination of them, but none could deny the syndicate's actions had brought some semblance of order to where chaos often reigned supreme. Yet the past few years had seen a worrying number of criminal groups rebelling against these carefully curated rules. One of these groups was surely behind the change in the market. And all of this held a presumed connection to two missing people. The guild and police had been tasked with searching for two children below the age of 10, a boy and his younger sister. They simply left the house one day and had not been seen since. Evidence suggested they came from a perfectly ordinary family on good terms with one another, so the likelihood of them running away was slim. We mulled over the suspicion that they had been abducted for ransom early on, but not a single demand was made following their disappearance, so it was quickly ruled out. Despite a healthy amount of manpower that was coming from both sides, neither the guild nor the police had yet to find them. That said, the search so far had not proved entirely fruitless. Their last known location was fortunately established, and it was, unfortunately, a popular site for illicit drug trade. The working theory from there became that the siblings witnessed our transactions and were held captive by the criminal parties involved as a result. If that held true, then the longer it took our parties to find them, the greater the danger their lives were in. The abductors wouldn't do anything right away. Murder was sure to leave trace evidence behind. It was only a matter of time before they resorted to that or trafficking abroad to be rid of them. With each passing second, the odds of the children being returned unharmed were dropping to zero. At the same time, all of this was pure speculation on our part based on a single established location. For all we knew, this had nothing to do with the criminal underworld at all. The potential dangers thrown around made inaction an agonizing task, but if there was no evidence to go on, action was impossible. We could forcibly arrest any suspicious people on sight and make them talk should we wish it, but that would be a direct violation of the Guild's code and its founding principles. The Bracer Guild always sought to be an ally of the people first and foremost, so resorting to a criminal act to obtain evidence was out of the question. If only this strict adherence to our code didn't stop us from being able to resolve so many crimes, thereby putting the people we swore to protect in danger. It was the ultimate impasse. As I found myself pondering on this impossible dilemma, the Bracers had placed themselves in, a familiar face came to mind. He was a childhood friend with blue-tinged unkept hair. Though we lost contact with one another some years before, he one day returned to the city as suddenly as he left it. Soon after starting up a particular profession that skirted the line of legality to a dangerous degree. The kind of profession that could easily involve himself in the affairs of many an unscrupulous individual, or so I believed. Just what did that idiot think he was doing? He walked out of my life without warning and walked back in much the same. I spent so much time searching for him. I knew a reunion would be an awkward one based on how we parted, but for him to return after all that waiting, all that searching, and dive into some questionable enterprises so different from my own was almost too much to bear. It gave rise to many concerns as a bracer, and many more concerns as a friend. And the one that bothered me the most was, why hadn't he come to see me? Did he have any idea how worried I was about him? How worried I am about him? Irritation building, I took a large gulp of my cocktail, but the alcohol only fanned the flames of anger burning in my heart. They burned brighter and brighter still, becoming a dazzling white that projected countless transient images of the past. Then, just as quickly as it had flared, my anger faded in an instant, replacing itself with a very different emotion altogether. Why did you leave me? The words slipped from my mouth without me realizing it, making me feel downright pitiful once they were said. It's so rare to see me in this state. You still haven't moved on, I see. A familiar but unexpected voice called out to me, caused me to jump slightly from surprise. I quickly regained my composure. I just have a few choice words I'd like to say. My response feigned calmness as best I could. I couldn't help but think I had more than a few choice words, really, but following up with that would aid my annoyance in a way I would rather not farther. Oh, I imagine you have more than a few. Right, of course he would see right through me. The bespectacled man that sat next to me, as though our running into each other was no coincidence, he was another childhood friend of both myself and the one that I was lamenting over. And someone who followed me a remarkably different career path from either one of us. If it's still bothering you that much, why not just go and see him? You already have his address by now, surely. How could I, with how much time that's passed? As I mumbled my response meekly, I thought I could hear the man next to me chuckle. Well, then I suppose there's no need to rush things. With your line of work, I'm sure your paths will cross naturally enough in due time. I didn't expect that kind of response. You make it sound so romantic. Lest have you forgotten, I don't struggle with expressing what's in my heart the way he does. Now, since we're here, how about a toast? I'll make your next one non-alcoholic. And lest you've forgotten, I can handle my liquor fine, thank you very much. We then spent the rest of our time reminiscing about the past. It'd been too long since we were able to just sit and talk like this. It wasn't that he and I become estranged, both of our jobs made it a trying task to meet even at the best of times. By the way, I've heard you turned down becoming A-rank bracer again. Of course that wouldn't escape the CID's ears. The information itself wasn't confidential, but that he already knew was something. However unofficial it was entirely typical of him. The Bracer Guild focused on protecting civilians, while the CID focused solely on the needs of the president in office. The groups are neither enemies nor allies, they simply had very different goals where work was concerned. I know it isn't my place to tell you to accept the offer, however, he paused before resuming, his tone becoming markedly more serious. The times we live in demand a new hero, that much is clear. I had no idea what a realist like him was trying to say by implying I was a hero. But before I could inquire further, he changed the subject that was likely what brought him to find me in the first place. Now, if you don't mind, I have something that will be of interest to you regarding those missing children. My eyes widened from the unexpected change. He continued. We've identified the group that made the district their turf, as well as compelling evidence of a crime taking place. You may proceed as you like in cooperation with the police. I couldn't believe it. On a fine silver platter, he had given me just cause to act, and since the information came from the CID, there was no reason to doubt its veracity. I felt it. I was on the verge of rekindling my girlhood desires. All I had done till now was follow life where it was taking me. And yet, here I found myself before a new path that could lead to that someone I once wanted to be. This deviation terrified me. What if it led me to losing someone again? What if it ended in more pain? My fear begged me to stay idle. I was a fragile human being at my core. I knew it well. It made me wish I was anything but. It inspired me to take up the sword and rebel against any whispers of weakness, and I played the part admirably on the surface. But if I were forced to face cruel reality in the future, I wondered, would my heart be able to take it? As I sidestepped to the left, I shifted my center of gravity and unleashed a flurry of slashes against my first foe, using that momentum to thrust both myself and my blade toward my second. Two low-ranking mobsters fell to the ground. They were members of a mafia I had been chasing, and right now, I was in the thick of their den of operations. My friend gave the guild and police the excuse we needed to take a more direct stance against our targets. His information was vague, however, so we still had to discern their precise location on our own. I, Zin, and several other braces agreed it would be best to split our forces and attack several locations in unison for this part of our mission. Based on what just transpired, it appeared my location was the lucky winner. There's the intruder. Hey, I've seen her before. She's from the paper. Two more reinforcements arrived, but I was hardly going to give them the time to act. I raced forward, swinging my sword twice as I passed them, and they fell before they could even raise their weapons. I advanced, mobsters appearing in droves. Presumably, word of my arrival had already spread. There she is. She's that bracer word's been going on around about. Well, damn it, what if the immovable's here too? Don't be chicken shit, it's one woman, we can take care of her. They then charge me in a mass, at least 10 of them, with more reinforcements on their way from farther inside the building. Forcing my way through with how many they had in their numbers was risky. I knew the sensible thing to do would be to wait for the other bracers to show, but I also had to consider what if my waiting afforded the Mafia time to wield the children as hostages. Weighing the two options, I concluded that whatever reduced the chances of that happening was worth the cost. I need to push on and settle this, now. Besides, I believed I had nothing to fear from this pitiful group as they were. Were they seasoned combat veterans, they could have used their numerical advantage to implement complex formations and corner me, but they did no such thing, the amateurs. And they dared to believe they held a candle to Heiuei's martial arts. In the face of one of my experience, their bloated size was more of a hindrance than a help. They wouldn't be able to utilize even half of their potential against me. I first had to position myself and them appropriately. If I could ensure the gun-toting wielders among them were in each other's line of fire while rounding up the close-range fighters to a single spot, they would soon have bigger worries, friendly fire. Their vulnerabilities would then spell my victory as I cut them down. 1 down, 2 to go. The precious seconds after defeating a foe were the most advantageous. Just as the man had fallen, I was onto another before they had time to adjust to my incoming blade. There was no pattern to... Hey, how you doing, Ray? What's up? There was no pattern to whom was next by design. I chose my targets with stunning erraticism, throwing them into complete disarray as more collapsed to the ground. Your sister and I finished pulling the weeds? Nice, that's good. 3 down, 4. I would go around them in a wide circle. I would move between them, while remaining ever aware of any surprise assaults at my back. I waited through them till I encountered the ones furthest back. These ones never even considered I would be able to reach them. They were spread so carelessly. The men took up their guns with newly alert panic strewn across their faces. But their fate was already sealed. They were powerless as I closed the gap between us. 5, 6, 7... With over half their numbers down, the remaining mobsters were quickly losing their will to counter. Some attacked out of adrenaline-induced desperation, calculating their next move so poorly that they fell into my long-set trap and accidentally attacked themselves. At this point, the battle was as good as final. All I had to do was continue taking them down until I was the last one standing. There were smaller groups I encountered on my way through the building, but I was able to disable them with little effort. The path they opened for me was eventually led me to their leader. He was a middle-aged fellow, pacing restlessly around an unpleasantly gaudy room until I entered. He twitched in fear upon the very sight of me. Why are you here? Where are my men? Kissing the floors. I answered so calmly and concisely that he balked in disbelief. That's impossible. I sweat my balls off to build this group from the ground up, and you're saying a girl like you tore it all down just like that? I ignored his crude language and drew closer. As I thrust my sword till it set just between his eyes, he let out a squeal. Well, I'm no ordinary girl. I'm a bracer. And don't worry, I didn't kill them. They've only been knocked out or restrained. You'll be seeing them again soon, in prison. I shot a darkened glare in his direction at the tip of my sword, wandered down to his neck. Now I have some questions for you, and you will answer them. The man nodded emphatically, his whole body trembling from fear. Killed children. A boy and a girl under 10 years old disappeared last month. Your people abducted them, didn't they? He nodded. I knew it. Then where are they? What did you do to them? They're at home farther inside. They're alive. At last I could breathe a sigh of relief. My most fundamental objective when coming here could be fulfilled. Next, I need to ask him more about his group. I thought you all seemed far too weak to be charged with this district of the city, but after coming across your account book, everything fell into place. You're working on behalf of someone else, aren't you? He was so unsure of how to respond that he fell completely silent, but that alone gave me my answer. Who is it then? Tell me. Is it A? I can't. He flinched from fear as I pressured him, resisting as though he genuinely couldn't say. Then, just as he opened his trembling lips to speak, I heard a strange thudding sound from outside the room. I stepped away from the man, my sword still firmly in hand. Crunching, squelching, splattering. More sounds. These were audible than the first. I didn't know what to make of them, but they made me feel an instinctive revulsion as they dragged on. They may have come accompanied by faint groans, but if they did, they faded just as soon as the sound themselves. I remained on guard as I stepped out into the hallway, ready to be attacked from any angle at any moment. And the sight that greeted me defied all imagination. The monsters I fought through mere minutes before were now nothing more than distorted, mutilated piles of flesh and bone. Not just one or two, every single one of them, without exception, had been reduced to bloodied mounds. Some were without heads, others had their organs ripped from their abdomens. Then there were those with their skulls caved in and leaking pulverized brain matter, or the ones with their hearts pulled out and squeezed. Each corpse was different, each corpse was unbearable to look at. The plain hallway I traversed with all due speed was now covered in sticky, red slime. Who could have done something like this? The sight was so awful that my free hand now clenched and shook from disgust. When was it ever necessary to go this far? What could anyone have to gain from this? Wait, no. I realized that I had made a very careless mistake. I turned and hurried back into the room I was just in. I was too late. The Mafia's leader was floating in the air at the center of the room, as though some unknown force was holding him up by his chest. A monstrous sword piercing through his chest, a single streak of blood dripping from his unspeaking mouth. There was no room to believe he was anything but dead. Like all the others in the hallway, he didn't even have time to scream before his life was taken. "Who are you?" I barked at the center of the room, trying to drown my instinctive fear with anger. At a glance, only the corpse and I were present, but if I strained my eyes, I could also see the faint contours of another distorting the space around them. It must have been some form of active camouflage. I would have thought it a basic courtesy to give your name before asking another charming ace of the Bracer Guild. It was a man's voice that projected true arrogance, as though he was above all others as a matter of course. I instinctively readied myself for battle in response, but my actions seemed not to faze him from the slightest. "No need to be spoiling for a fight. I'm simply here to take out the trash after they were careless enough to leave a trail for the CID to follow." Was I really talking to a fellow human being? How could he speak of such gruesome murders in those terms? "Are you a business partner of theirs?" "No, you must be from the group above them." "Very good." He then swung his blade to slide and tossed the corpse off to the side with all the respect of a used cigarette. "How can you treat people you work with like this?" "People?" "My sister texted me." "Okay." A question/request. "Okay, I'll check it when in a little bit." "People, have you ears? Have you your ears? I said nothing about taking out a person, only trash. The same applies to the garbage piling up in the hallway. They have always been so, even before they stopped breathing." It was clear that communicating with someone of his nature was impossible. I dismissed calm reason for an intense, all-consuming anger, so great that my entire body couldn't stop trembling. You monster! Before I knew it, I'd sprung into action, pouring every drop of strength into my blade to launch a swift, unavoidable strike. But he repelled it with one vertical swing of his own. This one exchange was enough to tell me that his strength was well a league above mine. He parried my blow at the most perfect instant, canceling out the force of my attack with so little effort that it barely scratched the surface of what he was capable of. The act of camouflage is nothing to hide the monstrous nature of his cruciform sword, either. Its design combines silver and black in an unholy fusion of darkness and light, as if chaos itself dwelled within its very blade. It was no common weapon. Even if I continued to give it my all, my odds of winning against him were extremely slim. But at the same time, my instincts were screaming at me that I could not allow him to leave. I charged again. If attacking him from the front wasn't going to work, then I would have to go for a side. He blocked that attack with just as little effort. But I wasn't done. I refused to stop moving, slashing a third time with even more speed than the first two. I showered him in a flurry of them, each one faster than the last. When I finally reached my physical limit, I darted in a direction, attacking him from behind. I put my very soul into one overwhelming attack aimed directly at his rear, which I could only just make out through the camouflage's distortion. I got him. However, the second I became sure that victory was within my grasp, his cruciform blade carved a great arc through the air in a ferocious spinning slash. I was able to instantly defend myself against the blow, but the force of it sent me flying backwards. I was fortunate enough to not have sustained a direct hit, but my body shook from not being able to fully cancel out its massive weight. Still, I forced myself back to my feet and glared at his form. The difference between us was night and day. I felt as though he could manipulate the very flow of battle, much like a master of martial arts who understood the true nature of all things. He paid no mind to my pitiful attempt at bravado and gave a short laugh before speaking. Impressive! You've put up more of a fight than the rumors had led me to believe. What's your goal? What are you trying to do with all your strength? I expected him to reject or ignore me, so I was taken aback when he paused for a sincere moment of thought before answering. An interesting question. I suppose to instill fear. Fear. I almost doubted my ears. Fear is at the heart of all we know. Domination and servitude, order, harmony, and production, all of it exists because of fear. That is why I seek to instill fear in its purest form, much like the retributive tower that appeared in Crosswell half a year ago. Such a pity that it fell. There was such pleasure in his words that it made it easy to imagine the expression on his veiled face. As insane as what he was saying sounded to me, I knew he meant every word of it. You really are a monster. Continue your fruitless attempts to stop me, and you'll understand what I mean in due time. He lowered his blade. As a parting gift for assisting me in my house cleaning efforts, I will let you and those children go. Keep that far too pristine blade sharp for our next meeting, Eraser. With that, he turned to leave. Wait! Just as I extended my hand, the ground below him emitted a bright glow, and by the time that glow had faded, he was gone. He had likely used the same teleportation spell that certain other criminal organizations were known to rely on. His departure also realized all the strength I had left in me, released all the strength not from the relief, but from the exact opposite. I was so overwhelmed with frustration that I let him leave, so afraid of what he might go on to do because I couldn't stop him, that I lost the strength to even stand. Of course, this is just who I've always been. I haven't changed one bit since the day you left me. I'm still the same powerless girl I was back then. My work here wasn't finished yet. I walked to the next room. I opened the door and was greeted by what appeared to be an old storage space. There across the hall, I found who I was searching for. The brother and sister pair were crouched against the wall, the boy trembling on the floor as his sister stood close by. It's okay. I'm here to help you. I kept my tone as gentle and reassuring as I was able. The girl smiled, with her older brother continuing to hide his face. I slowly walked toward them, careful not to make any sudden movements, but as I did, the boy shook his head vigorously. His whole body trembled more the closer I got, as though he were telling me to stay away. The answer from that man flashed in my mind. Fear is at the heart of all we know. Those poor children were very much in fear's clutches. No matter how gradual I was in closing the distance between myself and the boy, trying my best not to provoke him, his body language showed he continued to reject me. We were now within arm's length of one another. His shaking grew more violent, and though he opened his mouth to speak, his voice refused to come out. It's all right. I smiled a most comforting smile. After that, I reached out behind me and grasped the blade of the knife that was being thrust towards me. I turned swiftly, my finger never letting go. I found the one gripping the hilt to be none other than the sister. She had tiptoed around my back while I was kneeling to meet her brother and tried to stab me from behind. She was a bit startled by my halting her attack, but otherwise she stared blankly forward, emotion on her face nowhere to be seen. I suppose he was right about fear. Fear controls everything we do. You must have been through something terrifying if you made your resort to this. No doubt they were now conditioned by fear to attack anyone who came to their rescue. I paid no mind to the blood from my bare hand slowly dripping to the floor. The cut from the knife was nothing compared to everything else in the moment. My first priority instead was to reassure that the girl I meant no harm. But we humans are capable of more than giving in to fear. We can fight it. With courage, we can fight it. Your brother was doing just that now. He may have been gripped by fear, but he still fought his hardest through his actions to alert me to the danger his sister posed. Even if it took all he had, he wanted to keep me safe and keep her from committing an irreversible, regrettable act. It was thanks to him that I noticed that what she was trying to do. You don't have to be afraid anymore. I'm a bracer. I'll keep you safe. I took the girl into my arms. You're a bracer? Even her voice was devoid of emotion. That's right. I'm here to help you. Oh, I think I've seen you in a magazine before. Something Blade, I think? That's right. The nickname is a little embarrassing, but I'd be happy if you remembered it. That way, as long as you hear it, you'll know I'm here to keep you out of harm's way. I tightened my grip around her as I stood, as if to stop anything more from hurting her and surround her heart with warmth. It really will be okay, I promise. I noticed her eyes twitch just slightly, and before long, her eyes filled with tears. Soon she began to sniffle, at first a small one here and there, till then gradually grew more pronounced, eventually turning into uncontrollable sobs. She had finally been liberated from her fear. As for me, I had stayed my course. I was too afraid to deviate from my current path. Still, I had chosen this path with pride in my heart. I didn't think it right to turn my back on it now, but I wasn't going to let it be an aimless journey from now on either. And so, it was another day in the East branch of Calvard's Guild. It sounds like the Mafia was trying to copy what the Organization of Assassins managed to pull off. I was discussing the recent case with Zin. The siblings had indeed been abducted because they witnessed an illegal transaction. The Mafia involved then thought to mimic a group of assassins known for raising children with the intent of turning them into professional killers. Their attempts thankfully proved as unsuccessful as their attempts to remain covert in selling drugs. The CID found them, and whoever they were working for purged them. Hell of a way to go. If I hadn't been so incompetent, maybe they wouldn't have been purged at all. Don't beat yourself up about it. The Guild's priority is to keep civilians safe, not criminals. I don't want to say they deserved it for getting involved in organized crime, but it is what it is. Try putting that frustration you're feeling into more personal growth instead of letting it eat you alive. I was told that while the siblings were going to need psychological counseling for some time, they were fully expected to recover and go back to their everyday lives. My meeting with them had triggered something inside of me. I came to realize that something needed to change. I had to take some kind of step forward, even if it ended in me falling to the floor in some dramatic fashion. I just need to pick myself back up again. With that in mind, I accepted my multiple recommendations. The times we live in demand a new hero. Doing so made me think of what my childhood friends said to me. I didn't believe I had what it took to be a hero. But if I could be even just a brief one able to give the people hope and banish the darkness ahead, then that was reason enough to keep going. That's, yeah, we'll talk about it later. Maybe that could make me somebody enough to fight alongside the real hero once they came to light. Well, shall we get down to business? Zin turned to face me, his classic broad grin even broader than usual. It'll be a while longer before the official paperwork arrives from headquarters, but I'm sure they won't mind me speeding up this part of the process with how much they wanted this. The Republic now has a bracer who reached A rank at the same age as the Empire's Purple Lightning. Congrats on your promotion, Elaine Auclair, Beauty's Blade. Beauty's Blade. Yeah, no, I can see why she'd be embarrassed with that. Forward sword in hand. Is that it? That's it. Uh-huh. Suspension of causality recording engine activity confirmed. Force connection to Astrolink severed. The whirlpool causality engulfs Erebos, and the fated land has at last been unraveled. Though the bell ringing in the end of days has yet to be silenced. You, children of Zemuria, have earned your moment of peace until the time comes to face the final hour. Is this the Grand Master speaking? Until you, with hope and fear in your hearts, must walk new trails. They said the thing.
Connecting to Reverie Garden database.
That's very interesting. Well, I think that's it. I think we have finished Trails into Reverie. That was that last little bit was very interesting, and it really does just make me want Calvard, like, now. I mean, Calvard is the next arc. Kuro no Kiseki 2 Crimson Sin, whatever the heck's coming out next. Hopefully we'll see a Kuro localization soon. Big rip. I don't know what we're doing next. I still have not figured out the next game I want to do. But hopefully, well, I've got a couple days to figure it out, so I'm thinking something action-y. I've played a lot of turn-based lately. Like, a lot. So, I don't know. Honestly, I kind of want to do, like, no, we'll leave that up. We'll save that for later. Because, I mean, I know, actually, when is Nayuta coming out? When does Nayuta come out? Comes out September 19th. Okay, so I have a little over, like, 2 weeks, right? No, like 3 weeks. Okay. Because, I don't know. So, we'll have to wait for Nayuta at some point to play because, of course, it's another Trails game. And so, probably something shorter. I'll figure it out. Anyway, everyone, have a wonderful night, and I hope to see you all next time with whatever the heck I'm doing. Bye-bye.